morning, students. How are you all? I hope everyone is happy. God bless you and your family. In the previous section, we saw about cement, uses of cement. What is meant by cement? Cement is a binder, a substance used for construction that sets hardness and others to other material to bind them together. Cement becomes hardened when it mixed with water. Do you know? In 1824, Joseph Aspidin invented Portland cement by burning finely ground chalk and clay in a kiln. It was named Portland cement because it resembled the high quality building stone found in Portland, England. Now move on, uses of cement. Cement is used as mortar, concrete and reinforced cement, concrete. First one, mortar. Mortar, it's a paste of cement and sand mixed with water. In houses, mortar is used to bind building block for construction walls, to apply coating over them and to lay floor. And second one, concrete. Concrete, it's a mixture of cement, sand and gravel. It is used in the construction of building, bridges and dams. And third one, reinforced cement concrete. Reinforced cement concrete, it's a composed material by mixing iron mix with cement. This is very strong and firm. RCC, used in the construction of dams, bridges, centering work in houses and construction of pillars. Now move on, gypsum. Gypsum is a soft white or grey naturally available minerals. The chemical name of gypsum is calcium sulfate dihydrate. The molecular formula of the gypsum is CaSO4 2H2O. Next one, uses of gypsum. Gypsum used as fertilizer, used in the process of making cement, in the process of making plaster of Paris. Next one, Epsom. Epsom salt, it's a magnesium sulfate dihydrate. The molecular formula of the Epsom is MgSO4 7H2O. Uses of Epsom: helps muscles and nerve function properly, improving plant growth in agriculture. And third one, plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris consists of fine white powder, calcium sulfate hemihydrates. The molecular formula of the plaster of Paris, CaSO4 1/2 H2O. Uses of plaster of Paris: plaster of Paris making blackboard chalk, in surgery for setting fracture bone, in construction industry. Next one, phenol. Phenol is a carbolic acid of an organic compound. The molecular formula of the phenol is C6H5OH. It's a very weak acid. It is a volatile white crystalline powder. Finally, we will going to discuss about adhesives. Substances applied to one surface or both sides of two separate items that bind them together and resist their separation are called adhesives. Types of adhesives: there are two kind of adhesives, one natural and another one artificial. I welcome everyone back to my class. Today we are going to discuss about a new lesson, our environment. Every day on your way to school, you observe various things such as trees, vehicles, garbage, and so much more. What are all these things? There are nothing but a part of our environment. In this environment, there are various other smaller environment. It is interesting. Well, let us study more about our environment in detail below. It can have both living, biotic, non-living things, abiotic. Now we will going to discuss about biotic factors and abiotic factors. Abiotic factors. Abiotic factors are non-living things part such as sunlight, air, water and mineral in soil. Next one, biotic factors. Biotic or living things of our environment such as plants, animals, bacteria and more. Organisms live constantly, interact with one another and adapt themselves to conditions to their environment. Now move on, ecosystem. Why is Earth the only planet with a life on it? We have aquatic life forms. Aquatic means water. Terrestrial life form, land, and aerial life form too. How is Earth the only planet to have an ecosystem on it? But what is ecosystem and why it is important to learn about it? What would happen if one of the ecosystem disappear? Let us study more about below. What is ecosystem? A complex relationship between all the living and non-living things, plants, animals, organisms, sun, water, climate, etc. interact with each other is known as an ecosystem. For example, let's take the relationship between sheep and lion in the ecosystem. For its survival, the lion eat the sheep, and each relationship like this has an effect on other creature and plants living in the same area. Hence, if the lion eat more sheep, it has an effect on the plants too. They begin to flourish since there aren't many sheep to eat the plants. Each organism in the ecosystem play an important role in the anytime foreign factor input in the ecosystem. Now move on, types of ecosystem. Ecosystem divided in two types, natural ecosystem and artificial ecosystem. Natural ecosystem and further divided in two types, terrestrial ecosystem, for example forest. Aquatic ecosystem, for example pond. An artificial ecosystem and further divided in two types, terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial, for example garden, and aquatic, for example aquarium. Now move on, natural ecosystem. There are ecosystems which develop in nature without human support. Natural ecosystem of two types, terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. Terrestrial occurs over land. There are three major types: desert, grassland and forest. Aquatic ecosystems are found in water bodies, example pond, lake and river. Now move on, artificial ecosystem. Artificial ecosystem are created and maintained by humans. They have some of the characteristics of natural ecosystem. They are much simpler than natural ecosystem. These can be terrestrial, land ecosystem such as paddy field, garden, etc. or the aquatic ecosystem such as fish tank, aquarium. Aquarium is a place in which fish and other water creatures and plant are maintained. An aquarium can be small tank or large building with one or more large. Now I'm going to talk about food chain. What is food chain? Imagine eating your favorite meal. Afterwards, you feel energized and ready to do almost anything. The food that you eat gives you energy to play, grow, and do all of the things that you need to do throughout the day. Every living things need energy to live and grow. A food chain describes how organisms get energy from eating other organisms. Although a food chain usually shows a line of animals that eat each other, a line of animals that eat each other. It is really never ending cycle that repeat over and over. Now move on parts of a food chain. Most food chain begin with the sun. This is because sun provide energy to plants through a process called photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, a plant make nutrients like water, minerals that becomes energy for itself and also for animals that will someday eat the plant or part of the plant. These organisms are called producers because they make food and energy for other living things. Some producers that are used for energy are grasses, trees, vegetables, and fruits. They are the first link in the food chain. The second link in the food chain is consumers. Consumers are animals that eat producers and get energy from them. There are three types of consumers. Three types of consumers. First one, herbivorous, carnivorous, and omnivorous. Now move on, herbivorous. Herbivorous are consumers that eat only plants, fruits, and vegetables. Some example of herbivorous are rabbit, deer, and cow. The second types of consumers are called carnivorous. Carnivorous eat only other animals. Some example of carnivorous are cat, shark, and owl. The third types of consumers are called omnivorous because it eat both plant and animals for energy. Some common omnivores are pig, crow, and humans. You and everyone you know is a consumer. Now move on decomposers. What is decomposer? Decomposer are small creature in our environment that are like living garbage disposal. Do they eat plants? Yep. Insect, large animals. They eat everything. They sound pretty powerful, but they are usually very small and live on or in the ground. When something dies, the decomposers take over from there. They eat dead remains and are even known as natural cleaners. If decomposers did not do their job, the ground would be covered with garbage, dead things, and disgusting junk. How do such small creatures eat so much? It does take some time, but there are many more out there than you might realize to do some of the thought jobs. You should be thankful the decomposer are good at what they do. What are the some example of decomposers? There are decomposers everywhere. You can find them in forest, swamps, oceans, river, and many other environment. One familiar decomposer is an earthworm. You may see earthworm in the soil, especially near plants, garden, and other moist area. Other types of decomposers include some insect. Have you ever noticed that when you are begin flies, you are usually near animal garbage or a dirty area. These insects love waste, dead things, and dirty stuff. Another living things you might find near animal waste it's a mushroom. Mushroom is a types of fungus. It actually live and grow directly on its food. How convenient. Most decomposers are actually too small to see. Many of them are called bacteria. Bacteria are very tiny living things that can live anywhere because they are so small. Bacteria can get into very hard to reach place including our bodies, which can sometimes lead to sickness. This is one reason why it is important to practice caution when you are near disposed waste and garbage. Ever see a rotten piece of fruits? This is usually caused by bacteria getting inside it over the course of week or two. Today's science assignment, answer the following, learn question answers. Thank you.